What's up, everybody? It's your boy Complexive, and today I'm doing a session breakdown of my song called Stank Delivery. It's probably one of the most requested as far as session breakdowns go. If you are a member of my Patreon, you get access to this session file for Stank Delivery. We're gonna go through all of it. So let's start with the intro. Cool, and then we're into the song. So quick backstory, for I don't know, almost 3 or 4 years, outside of music, the only thing I did was deliver food. I worked for a company called Eat Street, kind of like DoorDash or whatever, and I was so bored. I just thought about music the entire time. Got to the point where I was listening to entire university lectures while I was just driving around, and all the time I was just thinking to myself, man, I just want to deliver the stank, I just want to make funky music. I don't want to do this job, so this part right here, it says open here, build, and then shut. The whole idea behind that was me getting out of my car. I've got this funky jam playing in my car, and I'm walking up to the door, dropping the bag of food, or stank in this case, and then walking back to my car, shutting the door, and it's just right back into the funky jams. Let's see what those sounds even are and how I did that. Yeah, okay, so found it in my environment folder here. It's all just individual Foley. I didn't record myself actually walking up to a door, dropping a bag of whatever, and then walking back. What I'm doing is I'm automating the stereo width with a utility, and then I'm also automating with an EQ just the amount of high end, because a door is filtering, a certain amount of high end, for example. Yeah, panning stuff like the traffic noises. Just trying to make it as realistic as possible. So there's somebody's car horn is going off, the sound of a bus station, city traffic with a police siren, more city traffic. And then this section here, this is where I'm automating this fab filter. So if we just listen to this. So that was fun. It took me a little while to figure out. Okay, so moving in reverse, let's go to the intro. So it sounds like real drums. I can assure you they are not. They are all samples. This rack right here, it's called the Real Snare Rack. It's really just my favorite snare drums from one of the free Ableton packs. And then depending on the velocity, you're going to get a different sample. So if we just listen to this real drums. I've also I'm layering those kicks with another thicker kick. Because, this is electronic music, right? Yeah, all the drums together right there. Absolutely unnecessary. Down here, if you're new here, the way I like to organize my sessions in Ableton, obviously, we've got a master channel that I've made here myself. In some cases, in this case, something I call a pre-master. This is just where I'm sending select groups of mine to another bus right before they get to the master so that I can affect them all together in some certain way. I have, in this case, a melodic group, which is just everything that isn't drums and isn't an environment. So that intro section, if we just listen to the melodic, Yeah, so I think I played some electric guitar on this. I'm not much of a guitar player. That's about the extent of as far as my playing goes. We got these bells. I really wanted to highlight that melody, so it's just a ton of layers. Diva is a synth that I really like. It's made by Yuhi. U-H-E is how it's spelled. But I've used Diva for years. It's amazing. This intro lead. Oh, okay. So just like a sine lead type thing. So this Diva lead is the thing that I'm using for my main lead sound for this intro. Funk pads, these are used throughout the entire session. So it's a ton of layering. Once again, this is kind of the name of the game here. So this is a serum patch that I made. It's really simple, just a simple saw wave with 7 voices and just some filtering. So this was apparently layered with Zebralet, which is no longer in my ownership. That's a preset from Diva, so I'm kind of layering a ton of those. Let's get to a section right here, like where the drums really come in. So just those funk pads, we've got all 4 of them layered right here. This is what it sounds like. Yeah, so just interesting texture. A lot of these things are frozen. I'm glad they are because I don't actually have all those plugins. So they're still playing while they're frozen, which is great. This is the main lead sound. So we've got a Hive, a Serum, a Diva, and then something I call Resonance. I do believe that's another Serum, and it was just like a super resonant sounding layer. Yeah, so you can see during that section, the bounce, bounce, you've got this lead delay. The resonators is really fun to put before a delay. Putting it before a delay, very fun. I always like to have just a little bit of ambience and then some verb throw, the Valhalla Vintage Echo Verb, and also if you have this plugin, yeah, Concert Wave, Echo Verb, Homestar Blade Runner, 3 of my favorite presets. They're all under huge spaces. I probably use Homestar Blade Runner the absolute most. It's just amazing. Moving on, yeah, that's kind of the intro. Let's check out the bass. This is, again, is more trickery from MIDI. I'm using Trillion. I like the funk slaps of a traditional sounding like E-bass, right? But I want that like thickness and sub of just a traditional sub synth bass. This right here is a Trillion, but it's also layered with a funk bass from Diva. And this is just playing underneath all the chords. So this synth bass sounds like this. And then just in between, we've got all those funk slaps. Lots of funky goodness. And that's really it for bass. The only other crazy section I will say, which is a different bass sound for some reason, is right here. I mean, this song is long. It has no business being over 4 minutes long because it's really just like a funky instrumental jam. But, you know, that's how I was doing it. This section is essentially the same section as what's going on in this intro during like the car door opening. And I wanted there to be something a little more exciting. So we've got these chords that aren't really in key, but then they take us right back to the key. Now, I wish I could give a more in-depth explanation of what's going on there from a music theory standpoint, but to be completely honest, I don't know how to put it into words. I'm not even going to try. So if any of you have the music theory chops that I just don't have, feel free to break it down. Regardless, I'm proud of those chords. I love them a lot. Let's see what's making those sounds. Okay, so it's all these pianos. So during this section, we just have these chords in the synths, and I cut the synth pads right where I wanted to have that crazy like chord section. And that's that same intro lead. I do know from music theory, at least as much as I can explain, that we're just kind of moving in fourths here. E flat on top to B flat to an F to a C to a G. It is moving through the circle of fifths. That's all I know. And they're just pretty major chords. While we're here, let's talk about these piano layers. So if I'm not mistaken, these piano layers, even though they're both frozen, I know there are two different types of E pianos coming from Keyscape. And then up here, where it says main piano, this is just a Keyscape piano. It's being sent to some kind of delay, something to just give it a little bit of space. Yeah, the parts where I want the piano to sound bigger, I'm always layering it with. This part at the end is my favorite section of the song. Yeah, this part. Ooh, and then, yeah, we'll go over what I was thinking here in a second for the outro. But yes, this section right here, I really wanted to highlight the piano there. That's why I kind of let this lead. It's just playing that quarter note, like same note over and over again, and it's kind of pushed back out of the very forefront of the song. I guess we'll talk about the outro right now real quick. The reason I chose this chord to end on was because whatever chord that is at the very end, that chord fits perfectly and takes me into dewdrops. Like you'll see here, it says dewdrops reverse. So playing it from like here, that's where it would go right into dewdrops. So if you listen on Spotify, all of those songs flow into each other. And a cool little nugget that you may not know that I don't think anybody has ever caught. And why would they? You know, I had no business doing this. But if you, for whatever reason, had the entire album on repeat, the very last song called Coda flows perfectly back into Pixel, which I just, I thought it was like a fun little Easter egg. It musically completes itself in a circle. Again, like no reason to do that other than it bringing me joy. Okay, so last thing I guess I just want to go over is this guitar stuff. I can play guitar, but you'll notice here it's a bunch of chopped chords. I know the chords I want and I can like figure them out, but finger movements and playing it all really fast, maybe not there yet. Yeah, especially jazz chords like that. I would like figure it out, play it, record it, and then play the next one, and then I just edit them together. So this is all one edited performance. Like you can't write a song like this and not have guitar, you know what I mean? So that's Stank Delivery, everybody. I will lastly just go over my master chain. That's something I always hope a lot of producers show in their tracks and don't tend to show. So in this instance, started with a Pro Q3, and I came up with all of these curves after I had gotten it to like a loudness level that I was comfortable with. Usually my curves on my EQs don't look like this. And I'm of the opinion that if you have a really good mix, you don't need stuff like this. We've got Smart EQ after that, which is probably undoing some of the things now that I think about it. Yeah, look at this. I'm boosting here. It's just cutting here. Oh, funny. Okay, soothe. We've got another soothe after that, doing more harmonic sub cleanup. Fab Filter Volcano 3, mud remover. I still use this. I really like it. Saturn. This is our first little bit of saturation. Add a little bit of drive. Clean tape. Satin. This is doing the same thing, cutting less peaks. I think just adding more character. Another soothe. Needed that for some reason. Fab Filter Pro MB. 4-band punch. Okay, after that, we've got another Saturn. This Saturn, more clean tape. Another Saturn after that. Subtle saturation and then gentle saturation. We've got our limiter sandwich. Got this limiter. We've got some kind of clipper. We've got this plugin right here, just a utility. So at pre-choruses, in places I want there to be like more impact, after that first limiter and saturator, that's where we'll dial the gain back. Just here, 1.6 dB. We can see what that sounds like actually. So it just gets like about 1.5 dB louder when the drums come in, you know, and so it's like extra added punch, right? And then to finalize the limiter sandwich, full output level is at -0.6. What was I at loudness wise? I'm curious. I mean, pretty good for this kind of song. Pretty much -8 LUFS. It's not bad. Let me know if you have any questions down below. As always, I want to thank anyone who is a member of my Patreon. If you are a member of my Patreon, you get access to this session file for Stank delivery. Last thing, if you're a true Complexive OG and you want to get some fun merch, I have hats and I've got hoodies as well. Hold on, let me grab a hoodie. Yeah, Complexive hoodie. And then I love tasty chords on the back of the hoodie. Who doesn't love tasty chords? So yeah, cop a hoodie or a hat, link in the info box below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.